In Hawaiian culture, lessons are taught and passed on through oral history. For today's lesson, let's learn the story behind the most famous Hawaiian farewell song and one of the best known of all Hawaiian melodies, Aloha Oe. We know that Her Royal Highness Princess Lili'uokalani, before she became queen, wrote and composed Aloha Oe in 1878. However, minor controversy surrounds the origin of the song. A common story suggests the song was composed while she was imprisoned in Iolani Palace during the overthrow of the monarchy. That is not the case. The most familiar story recounts that in 1878, Lili'uokalani went on a horseback riding trip with several others to the ranch of Edwin Boyd, the king's chamberlain, in Maunawili on the island of Oahu. After spending the day there, Lili'uokalani and her companions had started homeward, but at the last moment, Colonel James Boyd was called back to receive a lei from one of the Hawaiian girls standing at the ranch gate. Colonel Boyd's words of farewell were, "Aloha Oe, until we meet again." As this was going on, Princess Likelike, Lili'uokalani's sister, impatiently galloped ahead while the rest of the party lingered behind. As Lili'uokalani turned and saw the tender parting, she was touched and soon began to hum a melody. By the time the group reached her private residence at Washington Place, everyone joined in the by now familiar song to the accompaniment of guitar. The next day, she wrote down her humming to paper and wrote the lyrics in Hawaiian with an English translation. Modern-day writers tend to romanticize this story, especially the parting scene, described as the fond parting embrace of two lovers. It has even been suggested that one of the lovers was Princess Likelike, although she was already married by this time to A.S. Cleghorn. At the time, it was not uncommon for Hawaiians to borrow melodies and adapt them to Hawaiian lyrics. Best-known songs Aloha Oe, Hawaii Pono'i, and Hawaii Aloha are based on borrowed melodies. This practice is also common in the Western musical world. Lili'uokalani adapted the melodic line from an American ballad, The Rock Beside the Sea, by Charles Converse, published in Philadelphia in 1857. The chorus is similar to the chorus of George Frederick Root's There's Music in the Air, published in 1854, but it was not exactly the same. The opening three notes of the chorus have become such a distinctive signature of Hawaii that it has prompted many imitators worldwide. Lili'uokalani gave the lead sheet to Henry Berger a few days after she composed it, and he scored it for the Royal Hawaiian Band. Aloha Oe was first introduced to the American public by the Royal Hawaiian Band in San Francisco in 1883. Its huge popularity resulted in many publications after that date. The original sheet music was published in San Francisco in 1890 or 1891. The crest on the cover includes Lili'uokalani's motto, Onipa'a, meaning steadfast, and her monogram, Lili'u. A facsimile of the original sheet music, which was issued in September 1988 by the Friends of Iolani Palace as part of the celebration of the 150th anniversary of Queen Lili'uokalani's birth on September 2, 1838. Although Aloha Oe is sung and known worldwide as a song of parting, it is said that the Queen had never intended it to be so. The story is told that she was shocked when she heard the song being sung at a funeral for a missionary. "This is a love song," she cried. When you look at the lyrics, especially the second verse, it is obvious as the song talks about true love. However, since only the first verse and the chorus are normally sung, most people are unaware of the remaining two verses and its meanings. A translation of Aloha Oe by Lili'uokalani goes like this. First verse. Proudly swept the rain by the cliffs, as on it glided through the trees, still following ever the liko, the ahihi lehua of the valley. Chorus. Farewell to thee, thou charming one who dwells in the shaded bowers. One fond embrace ere I depart, until we meet again. Second verse. Thus sweet memories come back to me, bringing fresh remembrance of the past. Dearest one, yes, thou art mine own. From thee true love shall never depart. Third verse. I have seen and watched thy loveliness, thou sweet rose of Maunawili, and 'tis there the birds oft love to dwell and sip the honey from thy lips. On another note, Aloha Oe is the only song to which the city of Honolulu has dedicated a memorial. On September 14, 1929, a bronze plaque with Queen Lili'uokalani's portrait and the words of the song inscribed on it was installed at Washington Place. Funds for the plaque were raised throughout the islands and the mainland. The international popularity of the song was confirmed at the closing of the Summer Olympic Games in Los Angeles in 1932, when the torch flamed and faded as the final echoes of Aloha Oe came from a chorus of 1,500 voices. Then in 1978, a century after the song was composed, a Japanese film company produced a documentary on Aloha Oe for a national television series, perhaps the only song to be so honored. In summary, we learned about the story behind the most famous Hawaiian farewell song and one of the best known of all Hawaiian melodies, Aloha Oe. It was written by Her Royal Highness Princess Lili'uokalani as she witnessed two lovers in a fond embrace. A manuscript in the Hawaii State Archives carries a statement in the Queen's handwriting that says, "Composed at Maunawili, 1878. Played by the Royal Hawaiian Band in San Francisco, August 1883, and became very popular." In decades past, every arriving or departing steamer was serenaded by the Royal Hawaiian Band playing Aloha Oe at Hawaii's Aloha Tower. Thanks to the references in the Queen's Songbook, the Friends of Iolani Palace, and an illustrated history of Hawaiian music and musicians by George Kanahele, we have a better understanding of how the song Aloha Oe came to be. Mahalo. I am Mele Fong. Mahalo. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel for ukulele lessons, music, and stories related to the songs. Are you having fun yet? See below to watch videos on my playlists. Have fun as you watch, listen, play the Ukulele Mele Way. Aloha from Maui. I am Mele Fong.